Hi there, good morning. So today I want to talk about one of a lot of reasons why I stopped using the brand Huda Beauty. And the first one would be, of course, the foundation. I had other things that were already kind of telling me that I was not going to be into the brand anymore. But really, what set off everything and kind of, was a cherry on top of the sundae was the foundation reformulation. So I did take note, I did take a lot of notes of the reason to why I, first of all, started to no longer use the foundation, what was wrong with the foundation, and that it actually took me a while to realize these things. I guess the more I saw my face in this makeup and compared it to other makeup or to like my regular skin throughout, like, no makeup and just everyday skin, I started noticing that it gave me a lot of texture and it almost made me look powdery, but yet I looked oily. It wasn't dewy, it wasn't luminous. I looked oily. The same way that this foundation splits in the container, and mind you, I've already shaken it. It's really, really thick. It also clogs the pump. So it's one of those products or one of those formulas or foundations that if you let it sit and not use it for a while, it eventually starts to dry out and it turns into this super thick paste of just pigment, and you can't really work with it. You have to throw it out. So sometimes I've been there where I've had to pump it twice to clear it out, throw it away, and then be able to use a third or fourth pump depending how bad it is. Like right now I haven't used it, but I do need to check it. Let me see if I can show y'all on camera. Let me just get a tissue just to show you guys how it pumps. Let me split this in half so I can like wipe it down. But this is what it looks like. Okay, so it's really thick. Okay, so there, see how it's a little bit runnier on the first one is incredibly thick and chunky. This one's a little bit more like easygoing, creamy. And I think by the third one it starts to get a little bit better. It doesn't look as thick and clumpy. So that's kind of what happens. And you can see that I'm pressing hard. I hope so. I hope it showed up on camera that I'm pressing hard. And it's not very, in my opinion, it's not very skin friendly because of that. And I suspect it actually triggers breakouts. And I get texture, like how I mentioned texture. So that's also little white bumps, kind of like milia, but it goes away the moment I take it off. I don't want to say they're hives because they don't itch, but it brings out texture. And I notice my skin doesn't look as nice. It just looks like I've either slept in my makeup as the day progresses and the makeup starts to break down, and it starts to oxidize like crazy. The only reason why I did not catch it sooner was because I hadn't been wearing long enough. It just so happened that one of these days, and I do have the habit of mixing foundations, and even then it oxidized like crazy, where I had it on for more than 6 hours. And I think this was when I was out in Houston. I looked so yellow. And this one already looks very yellow on me. This is in the shade Vanilla 120B. It's supposed to be more on the beigey side, like pinky beigey to my understanding. At least that's how it was sold to me. Versus like this was just yellow. This was just yellow. So once again, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't ever remember the OG formula going this bad on my skin or oxidizing this bad on my face. And the fact that Joaquin noticed it also was a huge red flag to me, that it was just not going to work for me. But I already had it for a little over a month and a half, I want to say. I already had it for a while. I don't even remember when I bought it. Was it back in January or February? I want to say it was back in like early mid-February, actually. That's probably more or less when I got it. It's also hard to mix with other products. It did not sit well with my L'Oreal Infallible Concealer, but it still mixed very well with my Too Faced Concealer, which wasn't too bad, but it still oxidized. Like, it didn't matter if I used a full pump or half a pump, it still looked really bad. And at anything less than half a pump was kind of like useless in my opinion. So at that point, I was like no longer really using it. And now I just wear the Too Faced Concealer in the shade Snow all by itself, and it looks perfectly fine. No oxidization, no greasiness, no splitting, maybe a little bit of texture, but that's because I'm using a different powder that I'm testing it with. Other than that, like, I haven't had the insanity that I've had with this one. And another reason why I also don't like it is because it just doesn't last as long. It transfers like crazy. And it doesn't take long for it to start falling apart. I do remember being caught in the middle of drizzle and my makeup was starting to go to crap. That also was not very impressive. The humidity in Houston really put it to the test. Do not like it. Do not like it. Do not like it. I do not recommend it. So that's one of the reasons why. The second reason is because of the lipsticks. The mini ones are not as long lasting as the full sized ones. And this one could be a little bit petty, but the glitter was too gritty on this one, but I really liked it because it's a really pretty shade. And I just forgot about it, so I no longer really use it. It was really gross too when I used it with a straw and I could feel the grittiness of the glitter. So I no longer use it for that reason. These ones, I don't know what it is. These ones tend to feel like they absorb the oil around my lips. So it kind of feathers out and it looks really flaky. I don't remember these ones ever looking like that. I need to retry them. I need to like retry a lot of the stuff before I formally get rid of it. I mean lip products. Just so I know that I'm making the right decision and not, just tossing them out or giving them away before, really knowing what's wrong with them. And I don't want to give something gross to somebody else, or not a very good product. I mean, I get it. Everybody tries it and it's different, but still, just for that sake of courtesy. And I just don't reach out for this palette. I don't reach out for these two palettes, but I don't reach out for this one. I think it was more like a seasonal thing, and now I don't really care for it. It's kind of just there. Another one that I don't reach for, and I don't really like it either. I find the formula also very different, which was very interesting to me. From the Pink Sand edition to the winter one. This one is a lot harder and drier. This one, the highlighting, I guess cream or the top coat or the top base, I'm sorry, is very sheer. Like it's very, very sheer. So it also kind of doesn't really do much. And I don't like that little glitter that it has. I like the shimmer and the creaminess of the Pink Sands, but I don't like this one because this one feels oily. The other one felt creamy. And the highlighting powders themselves are really dry. They work really nice as eyeshadows, but they don't work very well for highlighting. They look very glittery, very chunky, very heavy. I only kept them for using for my eyes, but then I eventually forgot about this palette and I just don't like it. And it didn't help that I started getting itchy around my eye when I started using it with more frequency. That was another reason why I stopped using it. Another reason why I also like that added the cherry on top of the sundae was the lip liner. So this was actually a recent one and I reviewed it on my Influencer, and it happened that same day that I reviewed it, which was this lip liner, which is in the shade Video Star. I don't know if it's just this one or what. Well, to be fair, I can't say that 100% because I have noticed that the product in the center, the lip liner, the stuff that actually shades or that colors on or fills your lips, I don't even know how else to say it. The product itself moves within the packaging, within the tube. So it's not at all like uncommon for it to completely fall out. Oh. And it breaks like crazy. So you can't really use it as much as you want to. It's really hard to put it back in without messing it up. So that's one of the reasons why I won't repurchase it. It did it right now. This is already the third time it's happened with the shade Video Star. I haven't really noticed it with this one, which is the shade HBIC. I don't know if it's the pigmentation or if it's the formula, if different shades are different formulas, but all I know is that in this one, it's no longer available. At least when I searched online, it was no longer available. So it's one of the reasons why I find it incredibly frustrating because it's like I loved all these products, but then I'm starting to get hit with a bunch of like, I don't know if it's flukes or if it's just me noticing in them, and I just never had seen it before, but there's just little things like that that I do not like. And of course, I still like the balms. I just don't like this one. Now that I started using this one because this one has chunky glitter in it, kind of like the lipstick. So it does get everywhere. Sometimes you'll be eating and you can feel it in your mouth. And this one has that really fine micro shimmer versus this one is like straight up glitter. Like this one is straight up glitter, which is why it's so glittery. And this one I'm just going to finish it, not repurchase it. If I don't use it, like in the next month or so, depending when I purchase it. I need to check when I purchased it. I'll just toss it. This has an 18-month life shelf anyways, but I use it more for like the liquid lipsticks. I have a lot of her liquid lipsticks, so I use it more for her liquid lipsticks and stuff like that. Not really for anything else, which is, in my opinion, interesting. That I use it just for that. It's just, you know, a realization. And of course, the last but not least is the skincare. So this isn't Huda Beauty, but it is something that Huda came up with. This is the Wishful skincare line. I found the skincare line to be incredibly gimmicky. I noticed that this didn't do anything other than cause, over time, a reaction. It's very heavily perfumed. It has this really intense like white color. It kind of reminds me of just pure perfumed, like lavender perfume. If you've ever used Glossier, which is the luxurious face cream, that one that comes in the jar, that one has a really pretty soft lavender smell. This one smells like straight up perfume from lavender. Like it's like perfumed lavender lotion, or lotion that's perfumed with lavender. That's literally what it smells like. And it's very gimmicky. It doesn't really do anything. I actually stopped using it once I realized that it wasn't doing anything. And then I ended up like emptying it out, throwing out the product, and I ended up using it for testers that I have in here, and it looks kind of gross, but they're testers that I got from Clean Makeup from Sephora a while back, and I use it for that reason. I use it for that, mainly for like, you know, things to unpackage and, you know, to repackage elsewhere. That's the only reason why I kept this. And the rose oil, I was like a fourth of it into it. I was almost done with it, and I noticed it wasn't doing anything other than making me break out. Once I started cutting out a lot of products, I started noticing that was an issue, so I tossed it. And the serum as well. The serum wasn't really doing anything. Like I felt like I had to use a lot, and it wasn't really doing anything. Again, very gimmicky, very pretty packaging. That's really all it is, very pretty packaging. The scrub was nice. It's like it's a good experience, but I don't really see why you should get it. It was one of those things where like it's just it feels like microplastics. It doesn't feel like enzymes or like anything like that for an exfoliator. It has this funky texture to it. I don't really know exactly 100% what it contains, other than, let me double check it. No, I don't have any. Like in comparison to the Ven one, this one has jojoba beads for exfoliation and hydration. And the other ones, I don't remember what it was because I tossed it out a long time ago. But it had like pineapple enzymes or like fruit enzymes or something like that to help exfoliate. I didn't really notice a difference no matter how many times I used it. I did notice some brightness, but that was it. Like I didn't notice anything drastic long term. If I feel like it was good for like 1 to 2 times, but if you kept using it, everything started looking the same. So I found that very interesting as well. Just, I don't know. I really wish that it was a much more consistent brand. I feel like lately it's just been very inconsistent. I mean, I guess the lipsticks are more of a preference, but at least with makeup, you know, like with the foundation and stuff like that, it's really like what tends to kind of make or break a company, which is the base of the face. So I found that very interesting that kind of like went downhill for me, at least. Excuse me, I no longer have the eyeshadow palettes. I ended up selling them just because I don't use them anymore, and I really don't have an interest in Huda Beauty anymore. The foundation kind of turned me off from it, so I'm getting rid of makeup like how I mentioned. And that's pretty much it. That's all really I can think of and talk about. Oh, and as well as the mascara, I no longer purchase the mascara, which is what is it called? Legit Lash or Lashes. I don't use it anymore just because I hadn't been using my contacts enough to realize it stained the crap out of my contact lens. I couldn't get that crap removed, like the mascara. I couldn't get it removed of my contacts, so it started to ruin my contacts. I went through 2 pairs because of that. Never again. It's only happened with other ones, and it happened with magnetic. Okay, Stacey. It happened with magnetic mascara where it just didn't feel right on my eyes. And again, it did a similar thing to my contact lens. I was able to get the stuff off, but it gave this cloudy look to them. Anything really like that, like it just really ruined my experience. So it's one of the reasons why I ended up returning it or tossing it out. And that's pretty much I can think of. Same with the eyeliner. Like I haven't repurchased the eyeliner because I just, it's not something interesting enough for me to repurchase. I ended up going back to my Physicians Formula and my KVD Black Eyeliner just because I got that one for free and because it's one of my favorites. And now I can say that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am really sorry for the content being more of a downer. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.